Hello, I'm Lee, I'm an intuitive, and every month I take the pulse on some of the themes that will be showing up for us. Coming up in July, we have several themes, including Creational Flow, how the energy of creation is now in flow and will be through the end of the year. The energy of busyness, the new emergence of the busyness on the planet. How are you doing with it? How are you reacting to it? How are you responding? Higher Mind Emergence. This month, July, quiet mind. The best visions and clarities will come from the moments where you can quiet your mind down. And the car crash of deception energy, how you are responding to the revealing of deception. Stay tuned for the full energy update. Hi, welcome to the energy update for July, or as my friend refers to these, my weather report. So before we dive into the month of July, I just want to remind those of you who didn't catch my free solstice broadcast Vision, which was broadcast live on June 21st, you can still get that broadcast, and in it I do a deep dive over the next 6 months. So I really look at now to the end of the year. It's an hour long. Many themes are covered, some exercises are given for those of you that are visioning, and also I channel my guides at the end. So to tune into Vision, just go to the link underneath this video and you will be able to see it for free. And also, if you tune into these every month on YouTube, please do subscribe. We release 4 or 5 free videos a week. So if you subscribe, you'll always get notified when there is a new one and you will never miss the energy update. So let's look at some of the themes coming up for the month of July. So Creational Flow is the first big one. And I touched on this in June. I talked about how flow energy was coming back, a flow that we really haven't seen for over a year, and how between now and the end of the year, there was going to be an energy of birthing and building. Now, don't panic, those of you who are kind of listening to that going, oh, I wish that was me. You know, birth energy and building energy, they go in seasons in all of our lives. But the fact that this theme is showing up in the collective and that this is one of the themes that came through, it tells me that more of us than before are going to be moving into this mode. And also we're going to be seeing evidence of it in the outer world. It's going to be an energy that's around us. So the good news about that, if you're feeling creatively blocked or a little frustrated that you're not birthing or building what you would like to, is when energy surrounds us in that way, so if we're around highly creative people or people who are in the flow in that moment in their life, it tends to unearth that energy in us. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, you can get a little, because you'll feel the parts of yourself that have suppressed your ability to create, build. And really, that's why we're here. We are here as creational beings. For as long as we're alive in the human body, we are here designed to experience and give to this planet, this human life that we have. So more and more, the energy of creation is going to unlock planetary-wide in the years and decades to come. But some of you might be first feeling this flush right now. So always remember that visions and creations, they take time and they have very twisty journeys. And if you're really doing it intuitively, you'll keep listening and adjusting your plan. If you stick rigidly to your 1-year-old plan, you might find that things stop flowing and are no longer working because you're no longer listening to what the thing that you're creating or birthing wants. And the same is true for if you're trying to birth new relationships in your life. Perhaps your mission is, I really want to create good friendships, or I really want to create a partnership, or I want to create a family, whether that's birthing a family or whether that's creating a chosen family in your life. So remember that the linear mind can only carry us so far when we're dealing with creation and when we're dealing with birthing. So that might also be your opportunity for healing and learning. It's like, how do I stay in the flow of this? Oh, I have to flow with it. As much as I'm driving, as much as I'm building, much of the time I'm listening and I'm receiving, and then I'm responding as I update as this thing goes. So try not to get too frustrated with the art of creation, because it is a healing art, and it's something that moves through us and it changes us. So as we create something new in the world, we equally create something new in here, which is why it's perfectly normal to have emotions, frustration, self-doubt. It's perfectly normal, but never let that stop you, because if you let those things stop you, you go back into that suppression mode and you don't create and build what you're here to create and build. The energy of busyness. Now, this was an interesting theme that surprised me. And the questions around the energy of busyness coming back into the planet are, does the busyness trigger you? So if people outside you suddenly seem busy, and this might feed into what we talked about in June, how are you responding to the easing of this lockdown? I know a lot of people are quite understandably a little bit like, whoa, I don't know if I want to go outside, and I don't know how I feel about this interaction, because it's been a long time and we have become somewhat institutionalized around this past year or so. So the energy of busyness now is something that might start to pick up again. And the question to ask yourself is, am I jumping on board busyness and am I enjoying it? Or am I resisting it? And am I resisting it for good reason? Maybe I don't want to go back to how busy I was. And that's definitely a theme that I'm hearing many people talk about. So because I got this energy of busyness theme for July coming in, July is going to be a good month for you to make some assessments about that. It's almost like, okay, now how do I want to go back out and operate in my own life? And of course, we're going back into a slightly changed world too. So it's not just about how we feel and think about how we want to show up in life. We're all in a very new sensory relationship with the outside world, the collective. So give yourself some space and some time to notice if the energy of busyness is triggering you, is making you pull back, and it's okay. It isn't a rush. You don't need to rush out into anything, and maybe some of the people in your life who are happy to get back into that energy mode will be a little jarring for you unless you realize it and you recognize that's not quite where you are. And that's not quite the space you want to hang out in. So you may see this in interpersonal relationships. You know, someone you love very much and might normally be really aligned with, maybe they're suddenly enjoying this busy ride and they're getting this energy rushing through them that they can go back into their life in a different way. So that might not vibe with you. So it's okay to kind of go, I'm going to let you go over there and I'm going to go over here and sit quietly, because it's going to be very different for all of us. And some of you will be fed by the energy of busyness, and it will feed into the birthing energy that we just spoke about. Some of you will be really ready and raring to go. So some sensitivity around how different we will all be on that scale is going to be good for those of you who are sensitive. The third theme of this month is allowance. So how much can you allow to come to and through you this month? You know, so we're riding the fast waves. They're ultra healing waves right now. The speed of everything on the planet and the speed of consciousness means that we have opportunities to heal really old stuff, whether it's this lifetime and our family's line or whether it's ancestral. And we've been seeing this going on collectively for years now, this rising to the surface of that which was healing that we needed, but we couldn't really get to. We hadn't really got down there into the deeper parts. And certainly as a world in the last few years, the deeper parts of what needs healing is coming to the surface. And that's why it's very triggering and very polarizing, not just in the people around you, but sometimes in yourself. You know, this stuff is uncomfortable for a reason. It's because we haven't, as a society, given it space. We haven't allowed it to be in the room. So now all of those things are coming crashing into the room. And what you're watching and what you're experiencing in yourself is how we are responding. So it's very intense and it's very alive. So the question for you on this, while this is going on collectively and you're picking up on it or moving through it, is how much can you allow through you? So if you find yourself feeling stuck, if you find yourself feeling intense, can you say, I allow myself to heal. I allow myself to release any energies and emotions that are not mine. I allow this to move through me. I allow myself to heal. Affirmations are very important. They move energy. Our words give permission. If you look at how our words as a society give permission, there are certain things that we do and don't say in society. There are certain things we've been asked not to say. This is why affirmations are so powerful for your inner world, because we then give permission to our inner self, our mind, our psyche to start to stretch and change and release and grow. So how much can you allow this month to come to and through you? So this relates to both healing, but it also relates to manifestation. Again, manifestation is on the rise, and manifestation simply means things that you need, want, desire, or that will benefit you in your path, getting faster at lining up in your life. And I think when you first start with manifestation, it can feel like magic or wondrous or like this incredible thing. And then the more you go with manifestation, the more it starts to become an everyday part of your frequency, because your frequency has somewhat normalized to being magnetic. So manifestation is increasing too. So when it comes to allowance, we're talking about, can you allow yourself to heal? Can you allow yourself to receive? And of course, those two things collide beautifully, because when we receive things that we need, we tend to heal. Higher Mind Emergence. July, the higher mind aspect that I'm getting is quiet mind. So last month I spoke about the higher mind emergence. So we're beginning to get more intuitive, more psychic, but also more visionary, and what we could refer to as universal intelligence. So the intelligence fabric of the universe is becoming more and more available to more of us. So, July, quiet mind. The quiet mind is the place where you just allow yourself to be still or to stop. And while there can be incredible practices and methods and tools that can help you deepen your quiet mind and cultivate more of a quiet mind more of the time, actually the message that I've had for years, and it works for me, is if you just have a consciousness about taking a quiet moment. So for example, right now, and I'm going to pause there. In an ideal world, we would have done 4 or 5 minutes, but your time is valuable and I'm not going to abuse it by making you sit silently here for now. I would say that the real juice will start to come if you could give yourself 3, 4, or 5 minutes to just have a quiet mind. So this means nothing coming toward you, you're not engaging in something. You can be listening to all the sounds around you, you'll have thoughts, that will happen, but you'll allow a space for something to come in. And the more we practice this, the more we start to hear. So the quiet mind is a place where we can hear loud whispers, parts of ourselves that we perhaps have been a bit more unconscious about. So you might sit for 3 to 5 minutes and suddenly a relationship moment with someone in your life comes in and you see it, and you see it differently, and you're like, oh yeah, I was a little harsh there, or I didn't realize I was quick to dismiss what they said. And I noticed them sit back, but I didn't consciously pick up on that enough at the time to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to close down what you were saying. And this is the beauty of consciousness. We get to see where we are, if you like, holding energy. And we've all been trained to do it. We've all been socialized in the way that we speak. So the more conscious that you become, the more you start to see what your words, feelings, and behaviors are doing to either lower or raise the vibration in a room. So in the quiet mind, we not only get whispers and visions and clarity and messages that are useful for our future, but we have that moment in the present to kind of just track a few things that are going on in our life and give them more space. So that's an energy that's coming in more and more, but you will get to harness it if you can take those 3, 4, 5 minute moments in your day where you just stop and you're just quiet. Okay. The car crash of deception energy. Now, this was a strange term I was given yesterday. I thought, oh, car crash, that's a strange thing. But what I understood about it was, you know, when you watch a car crash, or if ever you've seen a car crash, or after the car crash, when you see a car that has been on the side of the road and, you know, they've crashed, you know, I don't know about you, but my first responses are, the people okay? Okay, there's an ambulance. Can I see anyone going in it? You know, there is like a reaction that you have to being around the energy of something so sudden, so explosive, and potentially very, very damaging to people. So the car crash of deception energy is the slow and steady ripple wave of things revealing themselves. So lies and manipulation revealing themselves. I brought this up in the last 2 energy updates. You know, we've got a lot of revelation and a lot of reckoning going on. And I know that many people I'll hear talk about, oh, this is going to come out and this is going to come out. And what I get is a little different. We're kind of in for several years of this, like several years of a slow and steady leak of things coming to the surface that perhaps were presented differently to us. So it's not necessarily to say that there won't be big moments, there will be. But this is going to take a few years, and it's going to be, once you pull one thread, all the others start to follow. And it's not necessarily going to be worldwide immediately. It's going to be happening in pockets of people, in pockets of society, but it's going to keep rolling like a snowball that gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes on. So that's already in process, that's already playing out. And it's triggering, like even if it's something you wanted to see, hear or see things can be very alarming to you initially, or painful, or can hurt your heart. But again, we're healing. So we go through those reaction moments and we come out, eventually we come through them and we come out the other side. So try and be mindful of the tenderness that this can bring up in you, the shock waves this can send through you. And equally, even though I'm mostly talking about collective revealings, it will show up personally too, because we're all in relationship to the collective, to each other, to ourselves. So you might have some things that you are suddenly more honest with yourself about. You might be like, oh my God, I was in an illusion about this and now I'm seeing it. Or someone might say to you, hey, that wasn't very clear what you just did. And you might be more willing to receive and hear that than perhaps ever before. You'll have less ego defense. You'll sit with it. You'll go, oh my God. So this car crash of deception energy is the shock that you can have and what moves through your body, that kind of fight or flight that can hit you at first. Just be aware of that because it's powerful. And even if you change your focus after you've seen a car crash on the road, something has moved through your body, and that's kind of what's going on the planet right now. There will be triggering moments and triggering reveals. So just be aware of rebalancing that energy once you've seen or gone through one of those. Excuse me. Final 2 themes for the month. One of them kind of links back to the first one. Birth energy on steroids. Again, not my words, they came from up there. Some of you will be hyper birthing right now. Like you're birthing, you know, triplets, and you're going to keep doing it for several years. And the thing to remember about that, because as I was tuning in on that group of you, I did get some of you in that group going, oh, is this okay? Should I be slowing down? For some of you, this is cumulative, meaning the reason that you're hyper birthing now is some of you might think you've been waiting years for this to happen in your life. It's like, oh my God, I've kind of been waiting for this since 2006, and now I feel like it's all here and I'm able to do it. And so there will be some built up past energy for you, but actually for many of you, it's built up past life energy. So it's the ancestral purpose you came here for. And this lifetime you came back to be here and be part of this messy, difficult, but very important and very illuminating and sometimes very incredibly joyous and conscious transition phase that we're in. So those of you that are hyper birthing, the only thing you ever need to worry about is my body keeping up with this? And if you ask yourself, how's my body doing? You know, if you're in a hyper phase, how's my body doing? Oh, I'm exhausted. Can't really take a day off because I'm kind of in the middle of this thing, but what I can do is take 20 minutes. And again, for many of us, the importance of short, regular practices is going to be crucial in the years to come. Because the more you can refuel in small, quick moments, the more you can get back onto your purpose. So especially with birth energy on steroids happening for many of you, meaning you'll be amazed at how much is birthing in your life, in the relationships, in the collaborations. It's going to be really important to balance the body. How is my body doing? Is it keeping up with all of this? And lastly, Otherworld Contact. Otherworld Contact. So other worlds and dimensions. The veil is continuing to thin on the planet. Again, something I've talked about for years, I guess, in these energy updates and in my work inside the portal. Hi, I don't know if you can hear those. Very lovely. Otherworld Contact from the dimension of the birds. The veil continues to thin, so many of you will be having more esoteric and otherworldly experiences, and it's going to look very different. Like for one person, it's going to feel like they have contact with angelics and elementals, and for another person, it's going to be more off-world. It's going to be different for everybody because we are a multidimensional universe, and that is what we are becoming more connected to. So as we do that, there will be different leanings for different people. So don't be judgmental of your own experiences in that area. And, you know, one of the gifts of doing this work that I've done now for 17 years, can I believe it, is people confess to me all the time about the kinds of experiences they're having. So, you know, someone who is perhaps, let's say, the CEO of a very traditional business, who you wouldn't necessarily think are having otherworldly contact, people, when they're privately with me, will say, by the way, I've had this experience for this long, or I've had this I've been channeling, I think, for 12 years. And they'll tell me because I'm safe, because I've kind of outed myself as someone who is having that experience. And what I have realized is there are way more people having these dimensional experiences and these otherworldly experiences than are talking about it, whether it's ghosts, whether it's whatever it is that you're tapping into. So that's going to keep growing, and that's coming in stronger this month. So either you might start to feel it more, or you might start to accept it more. You might start to go, oh, this can have a place in my life. Sure, probably not going to be what I'm using when I'm at the grocery store or the supermarket. I'm probably going to be in a slightly different mode there. But this can actually have a place in my life, because it's going to be something that's going to be far more prevalent for all of us in the decades to come. So that is everything for the month of July. I hope you have a very good month. And for those of you who aren't aware, we are bringing back my Transmissions virtual online retreat this month. So starting on July 12th, we are doing Transmissions 2021. I teach it live across 2 weeks. There are 6 broadcasts. There is a Transmissions music album. There's so much in it. So what we're going to do is play you a trailer in just a moment so that you can get a feel for the program. Some of the themes we'll be working on, like magic, expression, healing, joy, and freedom. So stay tuned for that trailer, and we begin on July 12th. And you can find the link underneath the video or visit transmissions2021.com. How and Why You Are a Healer is this month's MP3. I channeled my guides, the Z's, on this theme, which was chosen by them, explaining how we're all healers and what's going on the planet, how we're experiencing it, and what's actually happening energetically to us as we go through our life. So that was a fascinating channel, How and Why You Are a Healer. That's this month's MP3, which as usual is in our store, or if you are a portal member, you get that included in your membership. So the portal is my members community. We have a whole wealth of tools, broadcasts, audio in there. So if you haven't tried it yet, I encourage you to try it for a month and see if you like it. And also, if you're joining us for Transmissions 2021, Portal members get a discount on that course. So this is a great time to try the Portal out. And last but not least, thank you all for your beautiful feedback for the music album we released in June. It's called Transmissions. There's a theme this month, but it's the music album we created for last year's course and for course participants. So we released it publicly along with 4 incredible videos from Rebecca Hall. I'm so glad that you've been using it, healing from it. It's recorded in 528 Hertz, and you can listen to, stream, download, or get a limited edition CD of Transmissions, the album, by going to transmissionsalbum.com. And again, the link is underneath the video. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and hope to see you for Transmissions 2021. Here is a short trailer to give you a taste of what the course is. Welcome to Transmissions 2021. We are bringing Transmissions back this summer because last year, when we first presented it, it was not only our most popular offering ever. We had several thousand of you join us from around the world. It was a way that I and my team could bring some of the energy of Soul Magic, our annual retreat, to you in the comfort of your own home, more affordably, and with no limit on how many people we could serve. So Transmissions is a metaphysical, intuitive, and self-growth deep dive to allow you to cultivate more energy for your life and for you to bring to the world. The themes for this year are going to be joy, healing, expression, freedom, and magic. The way that these topics are explored is through 5 live broadcasts where I will not only teach intuitively, but I will channel my guides, the Z's. We provide transcripts, audio downloads of each session. There is an energy blueprint that you will receive ahead of the course starting, where I write a document basically that I channel about what energies we're going to be cultivating, looking at, moving, releasing. We also have several supplemental materials and videos from members of my team. So there are meditations, there are videos that help you support yourself as you go through a journey like this. We also have the private members forum, which is away from social media, so you can privately share and discuss with all other members of the course. The final element of our Transmissions courses is the music album that Davor Bozik and I create. This is both spoken word and music, and it's 5 10-minute tracks. You may have seen that we've just publicly released last year's album, which we created for course members. So you can stream that right now on Spotify or wherever you get your music. But for this year, we will exclusively be bringing you Transmissions Volume 2, which will be available this year only to course members. So we invite you to check out the course page, read more details, and if it resonates for you to join us for Transmissions 2021, we would love to welcome you aboard.